This video is brought to you by EA Creator Network. Thanks to EA for providing me the code for the pack. Hello everyone, this is Abi aka onlyabidoang, and today we're gonna be taking a look at 20, yes, not 10 this time, 20 features that you might not know in the newest Sims 4 expansion pack, Life and Death. It's been almost 2 weeks since it's released, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's already one of my favorite packs so far because of how much content it has. It's been a long time since I haven't been this excited to play a new Sims 4 pack, especially after Love Struck, because that pack can go. Even for Rent, the packs that's basically inspired by my home region doesn't excite me as much as this. But before going further, a quick reminder that I now have a creator code as part of the EA affiliate program. Feel free to enter the code onlyabidoang when purchasing any Sims 4 packs in the EA desktop app or thesims.com if you want to directly support me, but keep in mind that it's not a discount code. Alright, enough blabbering about that, let's just take a look at the features, shall we? In the Morningvale district of Ravenwood, the new world in this pack, there's this lake area called Baleful Bog, where it has magical properties where you can become a temporary ghost after swimming in it for 7 hours. If you go to the trade panel, you'll become a random type of ghost. This is perfect for living Sims to try out the new ghost mastery abilities, because the skill tree will also be accessible. After the buff expires, they will turn back to normal, but they will get this uncomfortable buff. If you swim in Baleful Bog to turn into a ghost again while still having the buff, after turning back into a regular Sim, you'll get a dazed buff instead. And if you still dare to turn into a ghost again while this buff is still active, after 7 hours have passed and you turn back to normal, your Sim will immediately experience the actual death of the ghost type they previously received. In this case, he got rabbit rodent disease death, so he'll die that way. If he becomes a ghost who died of electrocution, he will be electrocuted to death later. And if he becomes a ghost who died of heartbreak, he will die because of the heartbreak. So be careful when swimming in here unless you do want to become a permanent ghost. Funerals are the new social event introduced in this pack with various activities to perform whenever someone has died, including eulogies, a moment of silence, giving toasts, lighting candles, etc. And I know this sounds crazy, but the event actually works. Shocking, I know. But besides that Sims, you can also give funerals to your dead pets, and this includes cats, dogs, and horses. Just click on their tombstone to start one, or, if you're planning from the phone or calendar, set the departed Sim to the deceased pet you'd like to honor. After setting the activities and venues, you're good to go. Now you can give your furry friends a heartfelt send-off. After a Sim dies, there's a new option to save them now. Besides splitting Grim for their life, you can now challenge Grim to a game for the Sim's life. And there's a lot of options to choose from as long as the compatible objects are nearby, and most of them are even from other packs. Besides chess, you can challenge Grim to play foosball, dartboard, Don't Wake the Llama, horseshoes, basketball shots, basketball dunks, ping pong, juice pong, bowling, and even hopscotch. Make sure that you're skilled though, because he's pretty good. If you win the game, the dead Sim will be resurrected back to life. But if you lose, then the reaping process will continue. If you don't know, the last base game update in October lets you woohoo the Grim Reaper himself now, which is much easier now if you have this Grimophone object from the limited time Reaper's Reward event in the base game to give him a booty call so you don't have to kill someone anymore. But if you missed the event, don't worry, I got you covered in the gallery right here. After woohooing with him, you'll get a unique, different, suggestive buff depending on how you feel about it, even if it's not so pleasant. And now, with Life and Death expansion pack, it's also possible to try for baby with Grim Reaper without cheats or mods. If successful, your Sim become pregnant and give birth to the baby like usual, but then you'll notice something different as they grow up. They will have this Grimborn reward trait for being Grim's child. They will also have a permanent side-shaped birthmark on the left of their neck and a bit of a longer lifespan. And that's it. A bit disappointing that they don't even get cool new magical powers or anything, but I guess there's some sort of an acknowledgement now. This trait can also appear on his children if you have a science baby with Grim. However, Grimborn seem to inherit some odd genetics from their father, and they often ending up with a slightly squished face, despite Grim himself looking completely different under that hood. And if Grimborn Sims have offspring of their own, those children will get a new reward trait called Grim Descendant, which is even worse because now they don't have the cool birthmark nor the life extension perk anymore, only the trait. This pack introduced a new frog called Death Frog, and it's not just your regular frog. They can be found by searching the frog locks around Ravenwood, getting them randomly after you buy the mysterious items from the mysterious merchant, and you can also find one in the fountain during Ravenwood Family Day Festival in Cross Crossing. They even have their own unique terrarium that's different compared to other frogs. If you keep them in your inventory, whenever a sim dies and you try to plead for their life, the Grim Reaper will always accept the plea no matter what, but he will take one death frog from your inventory. Additionally, if you have level 7 in cooking skill, you can use them to cook up a new food called Boiling Death Frog Hot Pot, which will turn you into a random ghost type for 4 hours if you eat one. Crows are the new immortal pet you can have in this pack, though they can only stay in this perch. You can socialize with it, tell nefarious plans to it, teach it mimicry, and exchange gifts with it. However, you can also provoke and mock it, making it angry. And if you do it enough times until it becomes dangerously angry and you try to provoke it again, it'll pounce on you and beat you up until there's not a single life left in you, aka Death by Murder of Crows. Pretty cheeky name there. Ghosts who die this way will have a crow's head floating inside their body and gain a special buff when you try to provoke a crow again. Plus, they will only receive common gifts from the crows going forward, so no more rare ones. One of the new progression systems introduced in this pack is called Soul's Journey, where you can fulfill it by completing bucket lists and aspirations to unlock some perks that helps your life in general. The fourth tier of the journey unlocks the ability to move on to the great beyond. This option will only appear if you play as a ghost and click on your tombstone. If done, the ghost will then say a final goodbye to the physical world and then disappear, removing them from the world and save permanently, including from relationship panels. This is practically similar to the Return to Netherworld option that we already always have, where it's a one-way ticket, but the former has several new benefits. For one, after moving on, everyone in the household gets a new perspective on death reward trait that makes them easier to manage grief and boost their soul's journey gain. Additionally, sims who have moved on will leave something on the ground that they call a mysterious object, when we all know it's the sim's Plumbob, aka the green diamond above their head when we control them. We can't do much with it though. You can sell it for 2000 simoleons, and other sims can also do this remark an exceptional sim interaction that gives them a buff. Additionally, occult sims who have moved on will also drop a unique looking Plumbob with their respective rings and markings, and this applies to aliens, vampires, mermaids, spellcasters, and werewolves. Not servos though, since they have no soul, even though for some reason they do have a hidden soul's journey meter after completing aspirations. Not sure if this is intentional or an oversight. If you do find a way to turn them to ghosts with the help of certain features from other packs and make them move on, their drop Plumbob will appear normal, despite them also having a unique one. Also, sims who have moved on while having the burning soul trait that they can get after fulfilling unfinished business as a ghost will drop an iridescent looking Plumbob after moving on. Here are all the Plumbob variations that you can get, including all its iridescent variant. Now feel free to kill a bunch of sims to collect them all. I'm not usually one to talk about cosmetic stuff like Create a Sim, but there's this cool addition from this pack where there are new outfits exclusive to ghosts, especially since you can create ghosts straight from Create a Sim in the base game now. You can see them better if you turn off this ghost overlay option. Most of these outfits feature the same characteristics, with absent legs and skeletal arms. You can even see their skeletal parts in detail on some outfits, like the spines and ribs. There's also this legless ghost dress for child ghosts. Speaking of ghost aesthetics, you can now change their color directly in live mode, so it will stay the same and won't change based on their emotions. Remember this part of the pack's trailer where sims can die in their sleep now? To have that particular death type happen in your game, if an elder sim has their H bar to full, there's a chance that when they go to sleep in a bed while in this state, instead of waking up just to die, they may suddenly not wake up and die peacefully in their sleep. This type of death is also considered as death by old age. Also, the bed where they just died may affect those who sleep on it. Sims will get a sad buff if the one died was someone from their household, an uncomfortable buff if it's not from their household, or a happy buff if the sim sleeping have the macabre trait. I kinda wish that the haunted bed would sometimes summon the ghost of the sim and disturb them or something, but alas, it's just more buffs. Skeptic is one of the new traits added to this pack, and they are pretty much unfazed of the supernatural and will always doubt on all the occulty things happening around them. Furthermore, they can do this demand proof of powers to occult sims. If they dismiss their demand, the skeptic will become confident, but if they do show them, they will cheer on them and get dazed, but still in denial according to its description. This can also be done on Grim, and he will just do this reviving gesture to convince them. Man, she got lucky. Imagine if he would just whip out his scythe and snatch her skeptic ass soul right out of there. They can also demand proof of occults from other packs. Aliens will perform some mind power stuff, vampires will show their fangs, mermaids will blow a conch shell, spellcasters will conjure a spell, and werewolf will howl. They can even demand Father Winter himself, where he will just do his iconic laugh to convince them. This trait is not all bad though. As an additional bonus, skeptics are completely immune to most of the supernatural effects targeting them, such as vampires' hallucination, aliens' mind-erasing powers, spellcasters' magic spells, and werewolves' intimidations. And if a skeptic does become an occult, they will often feel conflicted with their identity. Chased by Death is another new personality trait introduced in this pack. If Sims with this trait experience something that has the chance to kill you, like fixing electronics even with high-handedness skill, provoking a crow, getting caught on fire, and more, they will suddenly collapse and get this pop-up from Grim himself saying that this is their final warning. Depending on your answer, you will either get an inspired or a scared buff for 3 days, but they both have the same effect. While either of these buffs is active, you can now access the perfect bucket list goal where you can choose your own bucket list instead of a randomized one. You will also fill up your soul's journey much faster and gain more aspiration points since you're on the brink of death. But there's a huge catch with this, because with this buff, every action that has the chance to lead to death will 100% lead to one now, without any of those warnings or do it twice for you to die BS. Trying to fix some electronics? Instant death no matter how skilled you are. Grabbing that cake from a cowplant for the very first time? She won't spit you out this time. Trying to shake a stuck vending machine? Now it'll crush you to death immediately. This also includes duration-based death. The time it takes for a fire to kill you is much shorter, and the same goes for the meteor buff you get after using the telescope, rendering it impossible to find cover in time. The poison you get from the jungle can even kill your Sims in just a few hours instead of several days. And if these Sims do die, the trait will be renamed into Embraced by Death. Ghosts with this trait can give other Sims a deathly gift, filled with random cupcakes and fish. But if they survive for long enough, at random times, they may get this mysterious gift from someone, probably Grim, in their inventory that's also filled with cupcakes and fish, but with a bottle of Potion of Youth as a bonus this time. In the Morningvale district, there's this spooky looking tree that you can interact with, like listening to its whisper to get more lore about Ravenwood and summoning the Weeping Mother Ghost. There are also these other two interactions that are locked at first, and to unlock them, you need to talk to Alice, the Weeping Mother Ghost who wanders around the tree, and ask about her sorrow. She'll then give you a side quest to find all of her children and get to know what happened to them. It'll then be tracked on this panel right here. I won't spoil it too much since it's a pretty interesting quest, but you can simply hover over the objectives to get some easy hints on their whereabouts. After finding all of her children and reporting back to Alice, you'll finally unlock the previously inaccessible interactions with the garden tree. The first is the scavenge interaction, which gives you a variety of harvestables, though it has a cooldown after each use. The second is fill needs, which is pretty self-explanatory. All your needs will be maxed out shortly after. But it's a bit disappointing that both interactions use the usual boring rabbit hole disappearing animation to make it seem like your sim has entered the tree. There's a new lot trait from this pack called Hallowed Grounds. If equipped, strange and creepy occurrences will start to occasionally happen in that lot. Sometimes, fogs may start to randomly appear around your home, making your Sims tense. They may also become uncomfortable because of random cold spots, making their breath visible. All the lights in your home may also flicker every once in a while, making you scared. These weird blue cracks can now appear in the ground at times. These are called netherworld fissures, and you can grab something from it to obtain random collectibles. This pack also adds in this new static TV channel that you can watch, but if you have the lot trait, the constant static may start showing some creepy and unsettling footage, including this weird red silhouette. Eventually, the figure will come out of the TV as Edith the ghost and she will jump scare your Sims with a scream, scaring Sims nearby and even making them pee their pants. But hey, despite all that, at least you get lowered bills. Reaper is the new active career where you can assist Grim Reaper himself and work in his HQ to reap some souls, release them, take care of hauntings, handle emergencies, or do some boring old office works. However, once you've worked so hard until you reach level 10 of the career, besides getting this dope-ass outfit, you'll gain a reward trait called Grim's Right Hand. Having this trait lets you handle any kind of grief much better, use the Death Touch ability to break objects, use the Healing Touch ability to repair objects immediately, and become practically invincible since whenever you die, you will always end up getting revived by Grim because you're already buddy-buddy with him. In the Crows Crossing district, you can find this mystical looking well called Well of Longing and Regret, where you can make a wish for only one simoleons with various wishes to pick, like riches, long life, needs, romance, skills, and careers. The wish can sometimes come true and you'll get some type of boost depending on the wish you pick, but most of the time it can fail, which usually backfires and does the opposite to your sim. You need to wait for a while after making a wish. If you wanna increase that chance substantially, you need to meet Edith, the child ghost that wanders around the well. You first need to try attempting communication with her, and she may react angrily and make you run away, or react positively and you may continue socializing with her from then on. You can chat with her, try to cheer her up, and ask her about the well. If you find her hard to interact, you can wish for courage using the wishing well to face Edith. And if successful, you'll get a permanent reward trait called Courage of Edith that, besides helping you befriend Edith, unlocks the ability to perform an unnerving stare to other sims, which is actually pretty unnerving, because their eyes will turn all white. After becoming friends with her, you can ask her for the mark of Edith. Edith will then scream at you and you'll get a buff that only lasts for 2 hours. While it's active, all wishes you make from the well will always result in a greatly fulfilled wish, which is even better than the regular fulfilled wish before you have the mark. The mark will also be removed after you make a successful wish, and you need to wait for a while before asking for another mark. If you wanna know more about her, you can read her tombstone right here to see her lore. This well can also be used by ghosts to reset their ghost mastery abilities and get their experience points back. This pack introduces tarot cards, and you can buy a basic tarot card deck from buy mode. They can do some reading to themselves, which will affect their whims depending on the card you get. They can also offer readings to other sims for 20 simoleons. Tarot cards are also a collectible, and there are 26 of them that you need to collect. You first need to find this tome sculpture available in all districts in Ravenwood. This is important because after interacting with it, you'll gain the ability to find more tarot cards, such as using intuitions on certain areas to discover a new card. You'll also be shown sims who are a part of the Order of Lenore, where you can do quests offered by them and be rewarded with new tarot cards. To get some hints for undiscovered cards, just hover over them in the collection screen right here. It's also a pretty great way to explore what this pack has to offer, as you'll be directed to do certain new gameplay activities. All your discovered tarot cards will be stored in the inventory, and once you've found 25 of them, you'll be able to summon Grim, where he will appear to give you the last tarot card. And finally, once all 26 cards have been collected, you can click on the Sim's inventory to create a new tarot card deck called Lady Ravendancer Goth's Tarot Deck, with new interactions and benefits. Besides getting double the simoleons for doing a tarot reading to other sims, you can now do this Divine Slumber interaction, which gives you a buff that fills up your energy need faster when sleeping, Affirmative Healing interaction, which removes all embarrassed, sad, angry, and tense buffs and increase your progress to cope with grief, and Summon Our Lady Ravendancer, which summons a ghost named Lady Ravendancer Goth, a lore-heavy primate sim that was first mentioned in the Sims 3 store item and was also mentioned in certain Sims 4 objects. She will also provide some lore regarding Ravenwood and its origin. Oh, and if you have Realm of Magic game pack, she's supposed to be a spellcaster, which has also been confirmed by other players, but she is not in my game. I think mine's bugged because even her code in the game has assigned this. If you want to skip all that collecting and just want to have the final tarot card deck, you can buy one from the reward store for 8,000 satisfaction points. Buying this will not complete your tarot card collection though. Also, the tarot card arts can be placed in your home through this new wall decor right here. If you play with a couple that are basically soulmates and one of them has completed their soul's journey, dies, and then choose to be reborn, they can meet their living soulmate from their previous life. The option to re-encounter soulmate will now appear, and if done, both your friendship and romance meter with them will be readjusted to be the same as when they're soulmates. They will also gain this reunited soulmates relationship and sometimes this soulmate deja vu sentiment. This will also work if both of them died, be reborn, and then meet as their new reborn selves again, where the option to re-encounter soulmates will also appear. This whole reborn soulmates thing is pretty adorable, to be honest. Thanatology, or Study of Death, is the new skill in this pack with 5 levels. It can be filled up by researching them from the computer, bookshelves, by using the voodoo doll, or by working in the new Reaper or Undertaker career, where it will be mostly used there. On level 3, you'll unlock the ability to speak a dead language to other Sims, where they will either feel confident or embarrassed based on the reaction. And on level 5, you will unlock the ability to cook up a bowl of soul soup with 1 soul as the ingredient. You can gain souls by working as the Reaper or buying some from the mysterious merchant. Eating this soup will fill all of your Sims' needs completely and freeze them for 4 hours. After that, your needs will go back to normal. In the Morningvale district, you can encounter an undead cowplant named Percival the Patient. They are actually not so different with regular cowplants. You can play with it, feed it, and it can also stick its cake tongue out to lure Sims and then eat them to get their emotional essences or life essences if the Sim is completely devoured. If you want, you can also obtain your own undead cowplants in your home either by buying a mysterious item from the mysterious merchant in Crow's Crossing after successfully cleansing the oldest haunted house from ghostly infestation, or after buying one directly from the reward store for 3000 satisfaction points. Besides its look, the only difference between regular and undead cowplants is that they will never die of starvation, unlike regular cowplants. Tired of woohooing on the bed? Well, how about woohooing in almost every object you want? Ghost couples will now have the option to have a possessed woohoo inside objects, as long as you're already close with each other. This option only applies to objects that can be possessed by ghosts, but it's pretty much most of the objects you find in your Sim's home. And before you ask, no, you cannot do it inside farm animals, even though they're considered as objects, you freak. Though they can still do it inside a hamster cage, Patchy the living scarecrow, and get this, a freaking pile of horse poop of all things. My god, this is insane. If you woohoo inside any electrical objects, it will always break after usage. So now you know the real reason of your computer constantly getting a blue screen. And as a ghost, you can also unlock the Transcendent Woohoo ability from the Ghost Mastery skill tree, where you can turn a living sim into a temporary ghost and perform a possessed woohoo with them. Additionally, Sims who have been reborn while having the Burning Soul trait can also perform a Transcendent Woohoo with anyone even though they're currently a living Sim. So those are 20 features that you might not know in The Sims 4 Life and Death. So, what do you think about the pack and its features so far? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if you do, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Sims content like this. See you later!